Okay, we're live, Nancy. Welcome from Las Vegas, a great new sports city. I always want to start off and just allow yourself to introduce yourself, where you're at, and let's start with that.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for having me, Ed. My name is Nancy Ruiz, and I'm here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Great. It's always interesting to think about Las Vegas. It's always been a fun city to go visit for many, especially the gamblers. But it wasn't known to go watch live sports. Um, what did you think when sports became, and professional sports came to Vegas? What was the kind of the thought in the community, in the city, when that happened?
So, our very first sports team was the Las Vegas Golden Knights, and we did incredibly well the first year. We made it to the Stanley Cup. I was really excited being a Texas native and coming to Las Vegas. I was really missing sports and the camaraderie and what sports did for a city. So having the Golden Knights here and now the Raiders has really pulled the city together to feel like a sports team, and it's been incredible, especially for business, for tourism, for just our locals. It's been amazing.
That was an incredible run that they had that first year to get to the Stanley Cup. No other team has ever done that in any sport. It was pretty special, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, we definitely created a really strong fan base, and the games are electric. I don't know if you've ever attended one of the
I
games,
had,
but
yeah,
they are definitely a good time.
yeah. And how about the Raiders games? Are there, the Raiders had such a great following, but from a fan side, did Las Vegas locals pick them up as their team, or is it still all the crazy Raider fans that have built up over the previous years?
So I'd say with the Golden Knights kind of paving the way for sports, I feel like a lot of people kind of got on the bandwagon pretty quickly with the Raiders to support them. I have seen a lot of people come from out of town, a lot of the California Raider fans come in to support, but I'd say I've seen a pretty big support system from the locals here for the Raiders.
Now, the football players, hockey players, they're really, I know in different markets they live in different markets, and they're really a different. Just I guess the way they live or where they live is different. Maybe it's depending on the market. I can tell you in Los Angeles, when we deal with the LA Kings, for example, they're a tight knit group, right? They stay pretty close in the same community, close by each other. They hang out with each other post games. I know with the NFL, it's a little bit different. How about in Vegas? Do you find that the players are living in different parts of the community in Las Vegas from NHL versus the NFL?
So I've seen a few of them stay pretty close together, generally in the same areas, especially in the Summerlin area, because there's a lot of newer luxury development out there. So they have a tendency to live kind of within that community. But I have seen a few, especially on the Henderson side, because there's not as much newer development out there, not as many staying in that area. So, long story short, it's a little bit of both. Some will stay within the same community, but they'll kind of bounce and be on in different communities on different sides of the city.
So, well, anyone who's been to Vegas, um, hi, Christy, out there on Facebook. um, Anyone who's been out to Vegas knows where they play. But generally in the NFL, they live where they practice. So, is the practice facility somewhere else in Vegas, and do they live close to that?
Yes. So the practice facility is in Henderson, which is on the southern end of the valley. There are a lot of great communities out there, Southern Highlands, next to a great private golf course community in Anthem. So I've seen a lot of the Raiders live out there, but there's a few that have ventured out to the Summerlin area as well. But generally, they like to be close to the practice facility. And another advantage to that is it's pretty close to the airport. It's a straight shot north to the airport.
So, tell me about the housing. What can someone new moving to Vegas expect? Kind of a price range. I think of what's an average home these days in the U.S. It's hard to describe, but let's just call it a a 3,000 square foot home, relatively nice. What can someone expect to pay for that standard size home in Las Vegas? And obviously, you're going to have your top level players that maybe have no budget and can get the uber elite homes. But if it's a standard family home, what would you expect to pay in Las Vegas today?
So the median price point for Las Vegas is anywhere from 4 to 500,000. That's going to be a little bit smaller than your 3,000 square foot home. But if you're looking around 3,000 square feet and you generally want to be in the Summerlin or Henderson area, depending on when the house was built, you're looking at probably more than double that. So you're probably looking closer to about $1 million for a 3,000 square foot house.
So $1 million can get you a long ways there.
$1 million can get you a long ways here. In Summerlin, prices are rising as well as so is Henderson. I'd say that's more of a start point for those areas, but $1 million here can get you quite a bit.
And I know the high rise market popped up right during the last market crash of, I just recall these new buildings going up in around 2007, 2008. Is that a place that some players are choosing to live in? And do they have like valet parking and guard gated buildings and that sort of thing? Is that an option as well?
Yeah, so we have a great selection of luxury high rises right on the strip. You may be referring to the city center where there's a Waldorf Astoria, Panorama Towers, the Martin. They have amazing views of the strip and really easy access to the airport, as well as a lot of the Las Vegas amenities and entertainment. Those are great options as well. Those do have private security. It has private transportation. Some of them even have limo services. I know one of the newer buildings did install biometric scanning for extra security because of some of the residents moved into it. So the residents are required to scan their fingerprint in order to be able to move up and down the high rise.
Wow, that's great. So tell me about the schools. If someone's got young kids coming in and they want to get in the school system, does Vegas have a great system, a mediocre system? What are some of those options?
So I know that's one of the concerns for anyone who's relocating to Las Vegas, just because most people ask, do most people live on the strip when someone moves to Las Vegas? There are some great school systems here. We have a lot of charter schools. I know Summerlin, we have about 9 public and private schools as well. So generally, I can set up area assimilation tours and private school tours. So there are some great private schools here, and that's growing as well.
Yeah, great. Any fun stories working with the elite and the athletes that you can share?
Well, I know anything that happens in Las Vegas kind of stays in Las Vegas, but it's I definitely will say some of the stories, it's nice to see them let their hair down and have a little bit of fun whenever I see them out here too. Yeah. Sometimes it's a little bit of a culture shock, just kind of how Las Vegas can be, but also I see that they have a tendency to be impressed with some of the suburbs and seeing that Vegas does have a lot to offer as far as like a family environment and things outside of the strip for them to enjoy.
Well, it seems like it really has made a big change over the last decade or two, Las Vegas. What brought you out to Las Vegas, leaving, a normal, is Texas normal, a normal town, right?
I think it's normal, but maybe I wasn't so normal.
Yeah.
I came out here in 2009, 2010. I had been playing poker online a bit. And so I cashed out on in an online poker game, came out here to play during the World Series of Poker, and ended up never leaving just to chase a dream of playing poker professionally.
And do you still play now?
So I play for charity. So I do still play for a lot of charities. I'm still involved with a lot of galas and poker charities. So I play for charity. I no longer play for a living. It's too much of a roller coaster and very stressful. But I did have a great time. I got to meet a lot of people that I grew up watching on television, and I got to get staked by a couple of them and learn from a lot of them. So that was probably one of the best moves I ever made, was to follow my dream and come out here.
Very cool. So, when working with players that are relocating, at SportStar Relocation, I think it's important to provide a lot of different services than what's standard on the real estate side. Um, Besides maybe some poker coaching that you can give some players, what are some other things that you try to do for your clients that are coming in or leaving the city?
So last year, I was helping a basketball player acquire a couple of investment properties out here, as well as helping his family relocate out here. I had to coordinate with the wealth manager on a couple of like financial decisions to make sure that it was in line with what his longer term goal was. Setting up car transportation and sometimes even private transportation or aviation, moving services, packing services, and even if they're not going to be in the home very often, or if it's not a primary, setting up a house manager, general contractors. So really a white glove concierge type of service. It was basically anything they really, really needed, and being a local resource as well. So it wasn't just helping them relocate, but really get assimilated into the area and just providing as many partners or as many services as they needed.
Well, it's great that you do that with us, Nancy. I think, it's always a surprise to those that kind of start working in this, this niche, right? Because everyone thinks that these players are just excited and they have these big contracts and it's all, fun and games, but it's challenging, right? They're often taken from one city on one day and put into another city the next day, and their kids are getting taken away from their friends, or spouses are being removed from their their hairdresser and their nail person who they've took them 3 years to gain trust with, and now they got to go find a new one, right? So it's not easy. So dealing with those emotions and those challenges, I think, is something that only a few people can really handle well. And we're so proud to have you there in Las Vegas to handle those needs for the players. Anything else about Las Vegas housing, or anything else that you'd want to add or share that maybe we didn't cover?
Um, I mean, the Oakland A's, we are, one of the top contenders to have them move out here. I did see that they did create a lobbyist group to help raise. They're going to need the public support and raise money. I believe about $1 billion for the ballpark. So that's pretty exciting. One of our the Las Vegas Aviators is one of the feeder teams for the Oakland A's. So it's kind of nice and exciting to hear that we're quickly becoming a sports team. And we have the women's basketball team, the Las Vegas Aces, which we were champions this last year. So, this is it's been an exciting time in Las Vegas for sports.
Awesome. So there's a question in the chat, by the way. I'm seeing some of these. So if you guys are out there in social land and want to post a question, feel free. I have a question, and I have Bahati has a question. I'll ask Bahati's question first, which is, I think playing poker takes a lot of skill. And for those that have ever played it, they understand it. I'm definitely a poker player, but not a pro. But what skills transferred into real estate for you when you think about, how you leveled up and been able to play professionally and play in the World Series? What skills transferred into real estate for you?
So it's being able to assess certain situations pretty quickly, being resourceful, and being able to act quickly. So it's really, I know when players are relocating, things have a tendency to move very quickly. They get traded right away mid-season, and they have like a ton of things that are going on, and they need all of their things taken care of, as well as being able to go to practice and get assimilated to the new team. So I think just keeping calm during high stressful situations, being able to be versatile with different personality types, as well as when people are stressed, being able to alleviate some of their stress and their emotions, and keep things moving forward ultimately, and finding the best partners to work with as everyone's transitioning.
I work with a lot of pros in the sense of pro real estate people. And one of my favorites is Stephen Christie. He always talks about reading the room, right? So reading the room when you're working with your clients, I imagine sitting at a poker table, you have to read the table. You have to read what might be going on in their head. Do you feel that you have that ability to do that with your clients, to see when they're stressed or happy or upset or that sort of thing?
Yes, I try to listen to not just the words that they're saying, but what they're not saying as well, and also try to have some foresight with what may happen if things go um, A route, B route, or C route, and just try to plan accordingly. And if I do have some news that I have to deliver that may not be the most pleasant, always having a solution for something that we may encounter. So providing solutions, options, and resources, and just again trying to make it a lot of executive decisions for them so that they can just focus on what's next for them.
That's great. Well, perfect. Well, terrific. Brings us to an end of this chat. I thank you for jumping on. We look forward to working with you further. If someone wants to get a hold of you, Nancy, what's the best way to do that?
They can give me a call or shoot me an email. My phone number is 702-910-1161. My email is nancy@huntingtonandellis.com. That is the brokerage I'm with here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
And do you also work with non-professional athletes?
I do. I do work with corporate executives. Right now, I'm working with a CEO and president of one of the largest custom suit tailors in North America. So, and also I work with a lot of locals as well. So I do.
Awesome. Great. Well, thanks for jumping on. Thanks everybody for popping in. Have a great day, and we'll see you all again soon. Take care.
Thank you.